in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
The general state of insecurity in Nigeria has reflected in incidences of Boko Haram insurgency, banditry, farmers and herders clashes, ethno-religious clashes and intolerance, drug addiction, cultism, rape, and kidnapping for ransom, and now triggering serious concerns, even as the federal government is continuing its onslaught of ridding the country of perpetrators of these ugly trends to ensure the safety and unity of Nigeria and Nigerians. But there are questions still begging for answers. For example, how did the cases of insecurity get to this point? Where did we get it wrong? How far and how well has the government and security agencies gone in addressing the challenges? What is the way forward for the country, especially with rising cases and calls for cessation in some quarters? On Weekend File tonight, we will attempt to find the answers to these all-important questions as we look at insecurity and the threat to national unity. And of course, find out whether or not citizens have a part to play in untangling the strands of the seemingly growing menaces. Welcome to the program. I am Joseph Johnson, and for tonight, my guest is Professor Kabir Mato of the Department of Political Science, University of Abuja, and he will be joining me live during the discussion segment. Thank you for always keeping a date with us. As always, the news comes first. The temporary suspension of Twitter is not just a response to the removal of the president's post. Presidency clears the air. The presidential statement says there has been many problems with the social media platform in Nigeria, where misinformation and fake news spread through it have had real-world violent consequences. Nevertheless, the removal of President Buhari's tweet was disappointing. The censoring seemed based on a misunderstanding of the challenges Nigeria faces today. The president, in his address at the United Nations General Assembly in 2019, said, quote, the world was shocked and startled by the massacre in New Zealand by a lone gunman, taking the lives of 50 worshippers. These and similar crimes, which have been fueled by social media networks, risk seeping into the fabric of an emerging digital culture. Statement adds that a terrorist organization, IPOB, poses a significant threat to the safety and security of Nigerian citizens. When the president said that they will be treated, quote, in a language they understand, he merely reiterated that their foes shall be met with force. It is a basic principle of security services response the world over. Now, this is not promotion of hate, but a pledge to uphold citizens' right to freedom from harm. The government cannot be expected to capitulate to terrorists. IPOB is prescribed under Nigerian law. Its members murder innocent Nigerians. They kill policemen and set government property on fire. Now they have amassed a substantial stockpile of weapons and bombs across the country. Twitter does not seem to appreciate the national trauma of our country's civil war. This government shall not allow a recurrence of that tragedy, presidency warns. An Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami has directed for immediate prosecution of offenders of the federal government's ban on Twitter operations in Nigeria. The minister mandated the Director of Public Prosecution of the Federation to swing into action and commence in earnest the process of prosecuting of violators of the federal government deactivation of operations of Twitter in Nigeria. Malami directed the department to liaise with the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, National Communications Commission and other relevant government agencies to ensure the speedy prosecution of offenders without any further delay. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has urged Nigerians talented in the development of social media and software applications to seize the opportunity of the suspension of Twitter operations in the country to develop homegrown applications that can rival existing social media platforms and meet the need of Nigerians. The APC, in a statement by John James Akpan Odaidege, its National Secretary Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, believes that the country has the potentials and talents that can develop alternative and competitive applications to existing platforms in the world. The APC challenged Twitter and other operators of social media pages, to use their platforms to check divisive and inciting rhetorics to curb fake news, disinformation, hate speech, among others in Nigeria. Now let's turn our attention to some of the day's other news for you. Nigeria's government on Friday said it has suspended indefinitely the operations of the micro-blogging and social networking service Twitter in Nigeria. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed announced the suspension in a statement issued by his office in Abuja. Let's take that story now.
Information and Culture Minister, while briefing the Kano State Governor on the merits of the digitization project, said it is a global project initiated by the International Telecommunications Union, which Nigeria lost its switchover plan twice. But with the commitment of the present administration, it has been able to launch the project and it's progressing steadily. With Lagos and Kano being highly populated states, they are very central to the success of the switchover project.
After Lagos, for us, the next place is Kano. Kano is not like any other place. Kano is important to us, not just only for the population, but also because of Kannywood.
On revenue generation, local governments, the minister said, are in for a good deal as it will help in the revenue generation drive.
Any household, sir, where there's that set-top box, automatically sends to the headquarters, captures the number, the telephone, and the identity of the owner. So if he does not pay his tax, you simply block it.
Governor Ganduje on his part said Kano State has fully embraced the project.
So we assure you that we will be in the forefront in the implementation of this digital change, and you will see the change.
He assured the minister that the people of Kano will no doubt accept the new development as it will assist government in reaching the people, especially at the grassroots. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
We're sorry about the mix-up there. That was actually a story where Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed expressed satisfaction with the acceptance of Kano State government to fully support the digital switchover for the state. And of course, as reported by Anthony Forson. And moving on now. The National Public Hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution at the instance of the Senate has ended with a call on stakeholders to use the opportunity and amend the Constitution in the best interest of the nation. Chairman of the committee, Ovie Omo Agege, said this at the conclusion of the legislative exercise. John Yaku has details.
Apart from the 16 points agenda listed for consideration during the public hearing, the committee also made provisions for other issues raised by the various interest groups.
We're asking that the independence of INEC should be properly espoused in the Constitution. Review the Constitution and include safety and safe operation of farmers and herders' businesses. Both parties should exist.
Make the National Assembly either unicameral, do away with 360 members, retain 109 senators, 3 senators per state, or make the National Assembly part-time sitting, so that whenever they sit, they have sitting allowance.
We should have state police, and Braddock support state police.
We cannot have a totally new constitution. The law does not grant us the powers to do that. What Section 9 of the Constitution grants us power to do is amendment to the existing provisions.
Other emerging issues at the hearing were for the FCT to be given the status of a state, as well as grant Nigerians in the diaspora the opportunity to participate in future elections in the country.
Now they are becoming an investment factor in Nigeria. We cannot ignore them. And they say they want to vote, and they hope that the National Assembly will make that possible.
Chairman of the committee assured the people that the 9th National Assembly will consider all the views expressed by Nigerians.
So for those who have a problem with that, this is the opportunity we provided to make the alteration a people's alteration.
He said the committee is open to receiving more memoranda on the constitutional amendment process that will further promote the unity of the country. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Now, the 2021 World Environment Day program, organized by the Federal Ministry of Environment, was commemorated in Osogbo, Osun State. It is celebrated every 5th of June by the United Nations to raise awareness on the importance of the environment to human survival and general well-being of the planet. Femi Afariogun reports that the theme for this year's World Environment Day is ecosystem restoration, resetting our relationship with nature.
It has been the norm for Federal Ministry of Environment to celebrate World Environment Day in the Federal Capital Territory. However, for the first time, Osogbo in Osun State was picked as the venue for this year's celebration, and the target is to further spread the message of the alarming rate of deforestation, standing at between 3.7 to 4%, and the urgent need to arrest the situation and restore the ecosystem. Minister of Environment Muhammad Abubakar says environmental degradation and biodiversity loss, deforestation, desertification, climate change, and recently COVID-19 pandemic as challenges and underlying factors for overpopulation, poverty, and insecurity.
The need for urgent collective step-up action by everyone, irrespective of social status, religion, and political leaning, for drastic restoration of our God-given natural ecosystem is crucial, while as government, we will not fail to provide every necessary support required to ensure that we are all in harmony with nature.
The government of the state of Osun has commenced planting of trees to revise the status of degraded forest.
Stakeholders want federal government to take drastic steps to protect the ecosystem.
Without trees, and without forest, the world will be nasty, it will be brutish, and it will be short.
There was a symbolic tree planting and inauguration of 4 hectares plantation park by the Minister of Environment at Ido-Osun in Osogbo, Femi Afariogun. NTA News.
In continuation of its emergency repairs and maintenance of bridges across the country, the federal government has closed a section of a core bridge for 9 weeks. The development is to pave way for the replacement of 3 expansion joints and 4 bearings. Michael Olale reports.
One after the other, the concrete barriers were arranged at the diversion points to signal the commencement of the 9 weeks repairs. It was an unexpected experience for some motorists caught in the web.
The hold up don't hook me. I don't did back since almost 1 hour, one and a half hours.
For Rafael Iludun, it is a case of getting caught by one's fear. He passed the night at his office to escape traffic, only to end up here.
I didn't expect this now, that's why my car is overheating.
Although some challenging days ahead, but the Federal Ministry of Works has drawn up a robust traffic diversion plan to ease mobility.
From here now you divert, that is you wrap down to Costain, you now follow the roundabout, you enter the Igamu, from Igamu you enter Abebe. Once everybody is lane discipline, definitely there's not going to be too much hardship on the road.
The contractor handling the project is mindful that time is of essence, but equally concerned about the longevity of the bridge once repairs is completed.
The expansion joint, we are putting a new expansion joint of finger type and rubber type. So all this, the time span, lifetime span, it all depends on the use of the bridge.
The repairs cover Costain to Alaka section in Ward Surulere. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
In the meantime, following the recent success in the construction of seaworld defense boats, the Nigerian Navy is now on the verge of building for export naval ships for other countries. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Awal Gambo stated this during a familiarization tour of the Nigerian Navy Premier Logistics Facility, the Naval Dockyard Limited in Lagos. Adeni Taiwo completes the report.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo's visit to the Naval Dockyard Limited, NDL, Lagos, is part of his familiarization tour of facilities and naval assets across the country since he assumed office. Of particular interest to him, as he was led on the tour of the facility by the Admiral Superintendent of the Naval Dockyard, Rear Admiral Levi, is the progress so far made in the design and construction of a 43-meter-long seaworld defense boat 3. With this progress in its shipbuilding capacity, Vice Admiral Gambo is certain that the Naval Dockyard will soon commence construction of ships for other countries.
Because we are in partnership with the Bureau Veritas, which is an international shipbuilding certification company, which means once they certify SDB3, we should be able to build ship for any country in the world.
To further boost Nigeria's capacity for offensive and rescue operations at sea, a new landing ship tank, LST, will be commissioned for the Nigerian Navy in Dubai, United Arab Emirates on Monday.
They will get our Ministry of Defense full support to up their game.
Acquired by the Nigerian government in 1965 and fully commercialized in 2013, the Naval Dockyard Limited, Lagos, serves as the logistic facility of the Nigerian Navy, maintaining both naval and merchant fleet and designing new seagoing ships. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
The daily lives of the family of the children abducted at an Islamia school in Tegina, Rafi local government area of Niger State is a mixture of pains and high hopes. Abdullahi Mohammed examines the mood in the town and homes of some of the families of the abductees.
It's another day in Tegina. Grains processing, fixed to a television set, as well as a savour of a tasty orange, giving a picture of a town picking up. Miles away from Tegina town is a village known as Guinea. That's where some families with the highest number of abductees reside. We met a few of them who have 2-3 children held captive. But we zero in on Malam Aliyu. 5 of his children are among the 136 held. Though shaken, his family remains hopeful, with their lips uttering the names of their children in captivity.
Nana Pidausa Aliyu, Sadiqa Aliyu, Sadiq Aliyu.
His 2 sons, Mustafa and Ismail, escaped the abduction by the whiskers. Their ordeal in the hands of the bandits is an ugly one. Back in Tegina, we visited the house of Ado, the father of Ibrahim, one of the abductees. The mother of Ibrahim, one of the abductees, could not bear the news of his abduction.
Within 15 minutes, she died.
Abubakar Garba, the school's headmaster, is a point of solace for many of the families of the abductees.
Some are coming to know the whereabouts of their children, but I don't have anywhere to go and complain. I don't have anybody to go and meet to ask of my children, because I am the headmaster. So people are coming to ask of their 1 or 2 children. But if I should ask someone about my children, I will ask of 140-something children, because they are all my children. All of them are under me. They are under my care.
Just like Nahiru Badaka plants seeds on his farm with hopes of a blossoming season, so the case of the families of the abductees, hoping their children will be back soon. In Tegina, Rafi local government area of Niger State, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Government is not and will not shy away from its responsibility of providing safety to schools and education standards in the country. This is coming from the Ministry of Education after the Common Entrance Examination conducted by the National Examination Council, NECO, held in all states of the nation today for admission into the nation's unity schools. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry monitored the examination in some schools within and in the outskirts of Abuja.
The federal schools are actually more secure than most others. We can assure you that even when your kids are with us, we'll do everything possible. We have 3 layers of security we've established for all the federal unity colleges now. We want parents to please allow their kids, let them know this country, let them meet other people.
Close to 7,000 candidates wrote the examination, majority of whom were females, with Lagos, FCT, Anambra, Zamfara State topping in the number of candidates. Results are expected soon. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says his ministry will continue to embrace programs and projects initiated by UNESCO. The minister stated this when he granted audience to Nigeria's ambassador and permanent delegate to the organization. Anthony Fulson reports.
Dr. Hajosani is visiting the Minister of Information and Culture for the first time after her appointment. The Information and Culture Minister wasted no time in assuring Dr. Hajosani of his ministry's readiness to get even with programs and projects of UNESCO, knowing how impactful they are to humanity.
On our own here, we have done a lot of work in both the culture and the information sector of the ministry that would need the assistance of the UNESCO.
Expressing satisfaction with the role UNESCO is playing to support creativity, which is Nigeria's area of strength in contributing to the growth of its economy, Lai Mohammed said the sector is a huge revenue earner but was badly affected by COVID-19.
No industry has suffered as much as the creative industry. Talking about culture, talking about tourism, talking about hospitality. Because one of the first things that most governments did was to restrict both domestic and international travel.
Dr. Hajosani, who equally expressed gratitude to the minister for his assurances, solicited the minister's support for the re-election of the UNESCO Director General and the acceptance by Nigeria to host the next Global Media Information Week.
We also want to discuss with the Honorable Minister to reinforce the mobilization of the different parastatals, the agencies and academia and individual experts working in different areas of UNESCO intergovernmental committees to be more involved in the work of the UNESCO.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with General Superintendent of Deeper Christian Life Ministry, Pastor William Folorunsho Kumuyi, as he turns 80 June 6, 2021. The President felicitates with the family of the renowned preacher, members of the Deeper Life Bible Church and Christendom in general, wishing the spiritual general greater service to God and humanity in good health and sound mind. President Buhari recalls his 2018 meeting with Pastor Kumuyi and wife Esther at the presidential villa Abuja, the warmth they radiated and their love and prayers for the country, urging younger preachers to take a cue as Pastor Kumuyi preaches the milestones. The President prays that his vision for the country will be realized and the works of his hands will continue to prosper. And President Muhammadu Buhari Saturday described the late Dr. Joseph Nwodu as, quote, one of the leading lights of the legal profession at burial ceremony of the deceased held in Enugu State. The president was represented at the ceremony by a presidential delegation led by Dr. Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour and Employment, accompanied by Mr. Geoffrey Oyemba, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Femi Adesina, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, and others. President Buhari recalls that with the deceased towering stature as a great giver and philanthropist and servant of the people, he will find eternal rest. Dr. Nwodu passed away recently at the age of 77. You're watching Weekend File. Let's take some messages, and when we return, we'll head straight to the subject of the program.
The Healthcare Development Agency welcomes Their Excellencies, the 6 executive governors from the Northeast Geopolitical Zone of Nigeria, to its COVID-19 town hall meeting. We also heartily welcome the distinguished Senator Chukwuka Utazi, Senate Committee Chairman, Primary Healthcare and Communicable Diseases, Dr. Yusuf Tanko Sununu, Chairman, House Committee on Health, Dr. Haruna Mishelia, Chairman, House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19, and all National Assembly members from Adamawa State to the town hall meeting. The meeting is also honored to welcome the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, Dr. Osaki Hanire, the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Olorunibe Mamora, the Honorable Minister of State for Health, their Royal Highnesses, Chairman, Councils of Chiefs from the Northeast Zone, traditional and religious leaders, as well as other stakeholders in the zone, to an interactive session to discuss COVID-19 vaccination in Nigeria. Date Tuesday, 8 June 2021. Venue, Banquet Hall, Government House, Yola. Time, 9:30 a.m. prompt. Dr. Faisal Shwaib, Executive Director, CEO, NPHCDA, Announcer.
The Federal Ministry of Information and Culture cordially invites the general public to our town hall meeting with the theme Addressing Destruction of Public Infrastructure. This event is scheduled to hold on Monday, June 7, 2021 at the Nigerian Air Force Conference Center, NAV, along Banex Jabi Road, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. This event will be covered live on the network services of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, and other media outfits. It will also be live streamed on social media, courtesy of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Guests expected at the event are the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing, the Honorable Minister of Transportation, the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, among others. Meeting will be in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development wishes to inform NPower Batch C Stream 1 applicants that the Ministry has commenced the next stage of their enrollment. It is in view of the aforementioned that the Ministry is requesting the shortlisted applicants to check their respective email addresses for confirmation, and for further information, visit www.nasims.gov.ng, follow the instructions and enroll their biometric data. For inquiries, applicants are requested to contact the dedicated Empower helplines 018888 or email support.empower@nasims.gov.ng. Announcer Bashir Noral Alkali, Permanent Secretary.
We're starting the happiness movement with Molfix.
For baby's happiness, it is important to choose a dry diaper because with a dry diaper, babies do not have rash and are comfortable.
Nigeria's #1 choice of mothers, Molfix Air Dry, has the dryness all the mothers dream of because it's ultra absorbent and ultra breathable, so it stays dry and does not leak. Our babies do not have rash. Come on, mothers, try Molfix and join our happiness movement.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
You're watching Weekend File with me, Joseph Johnson. Police is your friend, a common saying. But how is this friendship faring lately? Mia Ogede in this report interrogates the sincerity of this friendship and how INEC, being the last hope of democracy, is also sustaining its position from those the commission serves.
Their presence comes with a deep sense of security for the civilian. That spirit that a friend is around.
There's no greater love than for a man to lay his life for the sake of another. And in taking that all, for me, that's the highest definition of friendship.
But the bond of friendship is collapsing.
You go out there, carry out attack on police officers. If you continue to do that, then certainly you will not be qualified to be our friends.
Instead of giving to the police information, some are setting them on fire.
It's impossible for criminals to exist in a community and yet the community are claiming they do not know. That does not work. But because the people will be docile and say, take some excuses to say that after all the police are not going to cover me up, they're going to expose me.
This is not something that can be left in the hands of the security agency alone. You and I can assist. We can combat it together. Because whenever you notice a particular thing and inform the authorities that be, action will be taken to that very place. In that case, you have succeeded in contributing your own quota.
At the last count, 67 policemen killed, 52 police formations burnt down, several correctional centers attacked, inmates freed in the south and southeastern parts of the country, and 11 military officers maimed in Benue State.
Take the bottle to their doorsteps and make a clear statement that the few deviants within us cannot and will not reorder our cherished national values.
Sharing a common story in unpleasant circumstances, the INEC and the police story.
To disrupt the electoral process is to undermine our democracy and destabilize the nation.
The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood, is not in a good mood. 42 INEC offices and materials from flames to ashes.
Indeed, these attacks on the Commission's facilities should now be treated as a national security emergency.
Great threat to national security and democracy, but diverse voices making a good chorus.
We are confronted by common problems, so we must get together, discuss these things as reasonably, as maturely as we can, and come out with solutions.
It is incumbent upon every single Nigerian
no matter what you believe in, no matter where you come from, no matter your religious faith, to resist this and to come together and to say, no, we may have our differences, we may disagree, we may not even like each other so much, but at the end of the day, we will not go into war. We will stand together, we will resolve our problems on the basis of peace.
Not only INEC and police formations are the victims, but innocent citizens also falling into the sharp knives and ruthless guns of the hoodlums. Mayor Ogide.
In Lagos, state aftermath of the EndSARS crisis is guiding residents to be more vigilant to keep at bay any security threat while taking ownership of public infrastructure. Michael Olale reports that even as those who suffer huge losses during the crisis struggle to be back on their feet, experts are advocating greater citizenship responsibility to return the nation to the path of peace and unity.
It's exactly 8 months that the EndSARS protest brought a new dimension to crime and criminality.
But not because there was lockdown, we couldn't come out.
Nkechi Olise was a victim of the wanton destruction that fateful day, and about 10.2 million naira investments went down the drain within the twinkle of an eye. She seems to be back on business, but recuperating is slow.
Nothing good came out of it. Sales girls working here, they all lost their job for some months.
Nkechi's pathetic experience is just one of the countless waves of destruction left in the wake of the EndSARS protest in Lagos, the nation's commercial nerve center that accounts for 30% of the total GDP.
Unfortunately, it's undoing the remaining structures that we could utilize. You remember after the EndSARS, it became very difficult to report a case at the police station or even see the responses of the police in petty issues that could destabilize civilian entities. Because there are people that we need, these security agencies, no matter how little support.
Time, although a healing therapy, has done a little to return the court premises in Obalende, the BRT terminal in Onyibo, and the various police stations burnt to their original form. In the midst of these, the entire budget size of the Lagos state government for 2021 is a little above 1 trillion naira, an amount that is not sufficient to ameliorate the EndSARS losses if government should prioritize rehabilitation and reconstruction.
Immediately after that incident happened, Lagos state government came out to say that about 1 trillion naira worth of investment was lost. And that is just a fraction of what they can actually capture. You understand? Money that are supposed to be directed into other economic, activities that will impact positively on the populace will now be directed in revamping or rehabilitating those destroyed assets.
The aftermath of the EndSARS crisis is just a credence to the cautionary counsel that where two elephants fight, the grass, they say, suffers.
We have no other country than Nigeria. Nigerians must be patriotic to the country. Look, the truth of the matter is that no matter how rich you are or no matter how poor you are, your country remains your country. It's paramount that you must love that country. You must do everything to ensure that that country progress and remain in peace.
Experts say issues of national security and unity should be seen as everybody's business, since the resultant breakdown of peace will be largely felt by all. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Let's expand the deliberations now, as I have with me in the studio my guest to do just that. He is a professor of political science, Kabiru Mato. Professor, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
All right, so the state of insecurity in Nigeria, many say, is precarious. How did we get here?
Well, that's a matter that I think would be ideal for symposium discussion. But be that as it may, I think what we face today as a nation is rather a culmination of a lot of activities that have happened over a very long period of time. I don't want to drag us down the history lane over a very long period of time. But in political theory, we do believe sincerely that wherever you have social insurrection, somewhere very near, you'll find social inequities and social injustice permeating within the very strata of the society. So I want to think that the crisis that we're facing as a nation today, as far as security is concerned, has been built up over a very long period of time, and unfortunately is rearing its ugly head today. And I want to think that therefore the onus lies on not just the state but the citizens of this country to do everything that is humanly possible to try to address it.
Before we go neck deep into addressing these issues,
yep.
And that's why I wanted more like a background to, I mean, how did we get to this point? But in any case, fighting insecurity has been one of the priority areas of the current administration from the start.
Yep.
How much of that would you say has been achieved so far?
Well, you see, the problem is that of gargantuan proportion. It has been deeply rooted in the society over a very long time, and therefore any efficient methodology that government will put in place in order to address it will substantially be dependent on how much the rest of the society is prepared to tally along in order to be able to address this hydrated monster that is staring us, that is continually making life very unbearable to the majority of the citizens of this country who are fortunately or unfortunately law abiding. We have come over a very long period of time from a situation of abject neglect on the part of the successive Nigerian states, to the extent that we faced a very serious dilapidation as far as social, physical and other forms of infrastructure are concerned in this country. And so there is this apprehension, especially if you take the population of Nigeria, for instance, we are estimated to be about 200 million people, and between 70 to 75% of this number actually falls below the ages of 35. And if you are talking about that, therefore, it takes you down to the very specific area of understanding the fact that more than 70% of the population of this country today does not have any idea of the protracted struggles that citizens have put in place in order to have this civil democratic dispensation that we have on ground. They are simply a product of this age with the influence of social media, absence of history in our primary and secondary schools, and so on. So we are breeding a population of young people that do not know where they are coming from and where they are and where they want to go to, or what they read, what they watch on the social media, and so on and so forth. So we are really in a very precarious situation that any attempt on the part of the state to address the endemic state of insecurity in this country will have to be massively, supported and assisted by the citizens. And unfortunately, the reality seems to suggest otherwise. Perhaps politics, perhaps, the heterogeneous nature of the Nigerian society.
We were certainly going to look at possible areas how to, stem the insecurity tide. But then let's just take some messages, and when we come back, we have lots to talk about. Stay with us.
You can now buy and register a new Airtel SIM card and enjoy 8 times bonus on all your recharges. Visit any certified Airtel shop today with your NIN and get instant double data and 8 times bonus on every recharge. If you don't have NIN, you can also register for it at the Airtel shop. This offer is available to all new Airtel customers.
Airtel, the smartphone network. Revision classes on television for students in secondary schools in English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education.
On Tuesday Live, our focus is on reviving grazing and forest reserve to enhance food security and sustainable economy. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Don't miss it.
Thank you for staying with us. Experience has shown that any effort to grow a nation would most likely fail if insecurity persists. This is because the nation's economy will be at stake. In this report, Adebola Brooksland Sunday takes a look at insecurity which is facing the nation from all fronts.
The primary duty of government, many agree, is to ensure the security of lives and property of the citizens as guaranteed by the law. The nation has been witnessing for some time now what many called unprecedented security challenges occasioned by the activities of militants in the South-South, kidnappers in the Southeast, armed robbery, political assassination, and kidnapping in almost all parts of the country.
I know that what they are doing will soon come to an end. I understand as well that some advanced technical equipment are being imported to help to reinforce their own efforts. So for me, it is a phase, but a very unfortunate phase.
The question now is, what happens when the same people that are being provided for choose to destroy what logically belong to them in the name of expressing grievances?
Whatever infrastructure that is put in place, it's not the person in seat that has that property. The property belongs to Nigerians, and in particular to yourself. So those who destroy government assets, infrastructure, I think they are misled or they don't understand it.
Comfort Otera Chigwe, a legal practitioner, one of the contributors to the amendment of the 1999 Constitution, said dialogue is always better than war.
The ideal thing is that we maintain a stable and friendly environment. We need to accept that whatever we have in place should be maintained and should be preserved rather than destruction.
People will know them. The people see them. Rear Admiral Okon Edet Ayo said information sharing with security agents will fast-track the anticipated victory.
Getting the people behind the military is very important. In fact, I don't know of any military that has won any operations, any conflicts without the people rallying behind the military. So we need our people. And especially in this asymmetric environment, the people we are fighting, they are not conventional opposition.
Disruption of economic activities, decimation of consumer confidence, and decrease in foreign direct investments are some of the highlighted consequences of insecurity globally. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
All right, I still have a professor of political science, Kabiru Mato, with me, and let's get talking now. Let's talk about how these vices impact the unity of the country, because I recall that the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed at a town hall meeting on national security, I think in Kaduna or so, warned that insecurity and its manifestations pose a dangerous threat to the unity of the country. Do you agree, and how so?
Well, of course, that's a very, obvious statement. It's a fact. There is, no way you can controvert that statement. You see, but the problem with the insecurity we face in this country is multifaceted, but mainly three dimensions. One is the insurgency that started about a decade or so ago from the northeastern part of the country, and the rest of Nigeria kept mute, thinking that it was a localized problem that was limited only to Borno space. Not sooner than, everybody was looking the other way, it became a northeastern affair, and eventually northwest and, the rest of Nigeria. Now, banditry and kidnappings, which forms the second dimension of insecurity we are facing at them, was an exclusive, preserve of certain sections of this country until recently, that it reared its ugly heads in the northwestern part of this country and is now assuming also a national dimension. The third is, of course, the politically motivated dimension, which, of course, is agitation that comes, from the southeastern part of the country. And people who ordinarily ought to have, uttered some powerful words in order to discourage the perpetrators of this, antisocial activity, unfortunately, for fear of either being consumed, by the militancy of these agitations, are keeping quiet. Now, at the end of it, Nigeria is boxed in a very dangerous scenario where we see and we're afraid of talking, and then we keep quiet, and then within a short possible of time, you'll be able to see that the crisis is, is overtaking the entire territory. And so these are the three major dimensions of the national insecurity that we are facing today, which requires tremendous effort on the part of government through the instrumentality of, its national security apparatuses.
Yes.
But just like the Naval General was saying a few minutes ago, it's impossible for the military or even the police to be able to achieve, any success in war against any sort of crime or criminal activities without the active support of the people around.
But talking about that apparatuses, I read somewhere on one of the national dailies a ridiculous statement that, in a way, saying that the insurgents, comparatively have more sophisticated weapons compared to the Nigerian security forces. So, how would you say that the Nigerian security forces are combat ready? Do they have, the procurement of and access to sophisticated military equipment and weaponry?
Of course, I think they do. If they do not, then the level of destruction that we are facing in this country will have been far worse than we see it today. And it's unfortunate. Again, this explains the tragedy of the Nigerian situation, where citizens are always eager, to report about the negatives rather than the positives. I thought this is a war not just on a certain specific section or individuals within the country, but afflicting the pains of, virtually every dimension to every Nigerian, be you in the northeast, in the northwest, the southeast, or the southern part of this country.
Okay.
And so what we need to do actually is for everybody to realize that the peaceful existence of your neighbor is invariably your own peaceful existence. So if you think that he is in trouble today and you are safe, then obviously by the time he's consumed today, it's going to get over you tomorrow. And I think that is one of the vestiges and the difficulties that, the globe will have to continue to manage. Yes, as the negative impact of social media proliferations.
Okay, you just a few seconds ago, you talked about citizens. I want to, turn to that angle now.
Yeah.
Do citizens have a role to play in fighting insecurity?
In fact, citizens have more powerful roles to play than even the military officials that are holding guns. It is the responsibility of the citizens, because the criminals are part and parcel of our societies, our communities. We know a lot of them. But there is this unwillingness, either as a result of fear or for any other reason, for people to try to cover up.
And is it not justifiable? I mean, how protected is a person who sees something and says something at the end of the day?
If the community will stand against it, it's a community effort. No single individual or a few members of the community can be more powerful than the rest of the community. So I think it's about a resolution on the part of the citizens, to want to come out and support the law enforcement agencies in ridding the nation of this menace that we are facing at the moment.
Thank you. I'm afraid we've just run out of time. We had more to talk about, but let's just leave it there for now. Professor of Political Science, Kabiru Matu, it's really been a pleasure, talking with you and explaining all that to us.
Thank you very much.
All right, time for a break. Stay with us.
My name is Osage Ehanere. I am Minister of Health. We have just taken the vaccine. It is the AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine is safe, properly researched. It is in use in many countries. We urge all Nigerians to submit themselves to taking this vaccine, persons who are 18 years old above. Otherwise, it is safe. You take your second dose after a period of about 10 to 12 weeks, and then you have immunity. Nigeria is aiming to vaccinate 70% of our population, and therefore be one of that 70% to give us herd immunity. Herd immunity means that Nigerians will not easily become infected even if they get in contact with the coronavirus.
Let's bring you sports now with Bade. Bade.
Many thanks, Joseph. Let's begin with mini football, as the Nigerian Mini Football Association continues to step up preparations for the upcoming second African Mini Football Cup of Nations in Ibadan, as the national technical crew has been set up. Babatunde Odubola has been named as the technical director, with Fabian Adabe being the chief coach, while Sheson Ogundele is the assistant coach. Nigeria and 50 other African countries will know their group opponents when the draws for the tournament are conducted on Wednesday, June the 9th, 2021. Kano Pillars will be hoping to return to the summit of the Nigeria Professional Football League when they take on rivals Enyimba International in one of the Week 25 fixtures at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna, on Sunday. The match, which will be live on NTA, comes up 4 o'clock in the evening. Pillars are currently second, with Enyimba 7th on the league standings. And to handball now. After a 26-year absence, Nigeria's women's handball team will be targeting a win when they take on the Democratic Republic of Congo on Sunday in their opening match at the African Senior Women's Handball Championship in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The coach Rafiu Salami-led girls have promised to qualify from Group B, which also has host Cameroon and Kenya. And finally, some form of sport and respite is coming the way of Nigerian troops in the battlefields against insurgency, as the Sahel Military Games is set to boost their confidence and fitness levels through sports. The Games body made this known during their visit to the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume.
We have been fighting insurgency, we have been fighting banditry. Why can't we now use a non-kinetic approach?
I'm a lover of sports. Now we know the veritable role the sports play in uniting families.
And that sports is back to Joseph.
Thank you, Bade. And that's Weekend File for this week. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Remember to always connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good night.
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
In English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education. Revision classes on television for students in secondary schools in English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education.
This vaccine is safe, and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts the activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
This is the network service of the NTA.
My name is Boss Mustafa, the Secretary to the Government and the Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. I've just had the rare privilege of taking my first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and I can tell you that we are doing very well in terms of our response and the administration of the vaccines all over the country. As strategic leaders, we are supposed to lead by example, and the President did precisely that on Saturday with the Vice President, and we are continuing in that particular direction. The essence of taking these vaccines is to help us really fight this COVID-19 virus, and the combination of the non-pharmaceutical measures and the vaccine is the way to go in 2021 and thereafter.
Revision classes on television for students in secondary schools in English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
The Council of Our Fathers.
My advice to these young people is please do not take us back to those harrowing days. you probably do not know what it is.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Motorable roads go a long way in improving the economic situation of a nation. Without a good road network, it is difficult for people to move from one place to another. Once roads are repaired, traders and others who are interested in doing business find it very easy and safer to move around. Service providers and their clientele also find it much easier to gain access to one another. It is a well-known fact that maintaining roads is not an easy task. Before the establishment of FEMA, some parts of the federal highways were in bad shape. But now, people have seen tremendous improvement in the condition of the roads. Despite all the challenges, FEMA officials have performed their duties well. Welcome to Eye on the Road, brought to you by the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, a weekly informative and educational update where we show you the great strides the agency is making in carrying out its mandate of monitoring and maintaining federal roads. It is the responsibility of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency to efficiently and effectively monitor, rehabilitate, and administer road maintenance with the objective of keeping all federal roads in good and safe condition. But it is the responsibility of commuters and residents along road corridors to use the roads responsibly.
A federal highways network, or even more generally the national highways network, is one of the most important, if not the most important asset that the Nigerian economy has, because it supports the life of our economy. It is an important asset. It belongs to Nigeria. It belongs to everybody. It doesn't just belong to one person. It belongs to all the Nigerian people. The Ministry of Works and FEMA are just managing it on behalf of the Nigerian people. So this is an important asset, and every nook and corner of the country the road passes is an asset that touches the life of Nigerians in general, but also the road users that use that stretch of the road in particular. And like I say, treat that as you would treat your most important asset, because even though it's not in your name, if there's a damage on that asset, it affects you and your everyday life. Treat it as your house, treat it as your residence, treat it as your facility to reach your economic goals, and use it responsibly and give consideration to other road users, almost as if, like we always say, treat every other vehicle as if their family is in that vehicle.
Road users and members of the public are enjoined to ensure proper use of road infrastructure and stop harmful practices that damage the roads. No matter how well maintained, if public assets are abused or used wrongly, and citizens fail to collectively own and care for the facilities that serve the nation, they will not live up to their designated lifespan. The Abuja-Abaji-Lokoja Federal Highway is one of the roads that play a very important role in Nigeria in terms of movement of goods, people, and other necessities through vehicular transportation. It links the entire southern region of the country to the Federal Capital Territory and other northern states. This road links southwest, southeast, south-south to Abuja. The agency has carried out reinstatement of failed pavement sections along Zuba-Abaji Road through contract. The 50-kilometer Abuja-Kefi Road is another one of the major roads into the federal capital. It is the main road access network connecting the capital to the eastern part of the country. A large number of federal civil servants reside along the road, which contributes to the high level of traffic and need for regular maintenance. Sections of the road are being repaired by the agency.
It's better because we are suffering for this road totally. Now if they repair and finish, we can enjoy it. And we appreciate for all the government, we appreciate what they did for us. They made them keep trying like that.
So we thank God as you see our road because we are suffering because of hold up. We are facing challenge always for this road, but as we see people are trying to repair the road, we are saying thank you for you people and may God help you people. And we are so happy for you people to doing this for us. We say thank you.
To assist the major repair works being done along the road through contract, the agency, through its direct labor unit, is carrying out the silting of carriageway and drains along the road by Maraba Building Materials in order to ease the flow of traffic.
This is just a kind of intervention on the silted carriageway here and of course the drains. We're just intervening here to remove the seals because we've seen that it's causing a lot of gridlock on this particular section.
Residents and businesses along this road have sometimes found themselves the victims of flooding due to blocked drainage.
More kudos to them. They are doing a good job. I say congratulations to us and to them because it makes our business easy in building material here and it makes motorists to flow very well.
Let them keep their good working ahead. They should not stop. So we are proud of them.
FEMA constantly cautions residents along right-of-way on highways against the dumping of refuse in drainage, as this can cause flooding. Zonal Coordinator Northeast 2, Engineer Babatunde Ige, has carried out routine inspection of some completed and ongoing projects in Bauchi State. Projects inspected include general maintenance of Bauchi-Kari-Yobe State Border Road, which was done through contract. Scope of work covered milling, repair of failed sections, and reinstatement of eroded shoulders. Engineer Ige also inspected major maintenance and strengthening of pavement along Kari-Yana-Jigawa State Border Road, also done through contract.
Alhamdulillah muna godiya da wannan abu da kuka yi mana kuma muna roƙonku yanda aikin aka ɗauko to ba a ƙarasa ba. Muna so da goyon bayanku tunda kun zo kun ga iya inda aka yi da inda aka tsaya. Muna roƙonku kuma muna roƙonku kuma ta FEMA. Allah ta duba yanda aka fara din a ci gaba a kai shi har inda ya kamata.
The completed maintenance work has improved travel time and by extension, socio-economic activities in the area.
gaskiya a gyaran hanyar yanzu da ake yi muna jin daɗi farin cikin mu sosai saboda ba ni kaɗai ba da direbobinmu wanda muke ma'amala ko da yaushe muna bin hanyar nan wannan gyara muna farin ciki muna jin daɗin shi to mu gaskiya babu abin da zamu ce mata sai godiya mun gode Allah ya saka da alkhairi ba mu da abin da zamu iya biyanta
gaskiya muna ƙara godiya ga ita Allah ya ƙara mata ƙarfin gwiwa ya ƙara mata ɗaukaka a kai domin saboda jin daɗi da abubuwan da suke mana a kai Allah ya tabbatar da alkhairin ƙasa muna mata addu'a Allah ya sa a zauna lahiya Allah ya ƙara zauna mana da ita lahiya Allah ka shirya mana jama'an cikinta albarka annabi.
Management of the road asset involves the application of engineering, financial, and management practices to optimize the level of service outcome in return for the most cost-effective financial input. Indeed, the main objective is simply to apply the right treatment at the right time to achieve the desired level of service. What this translates to is acknowledging that the road infrastructure is a financial asset for society and the economy. Monitoring and regular inspection ensures that the nation, through FEMA, gets value for funds spent on the maintenance of federal roads. Engineer Ifeanyi Kamelu, Director Road Maintenance Management Services, and the management team is currently on a nationwide tour to inspect completed and ongoing projects being handled by the agency, either through contract or direct labor. Zones visited so far include Southeast and Northwest. The inspection by the management team continues in Rivers and Akwa Ibom states. In Rivers State, 7 projects have been executed through contract. The maintenance repairs of Iguruta, Chokocho, Okehi, Okpala Road has been completed. General maintenance repairs of Elele Alimini Roundabout in Rivers State is about 50% complete. General maintenance repairs of Port Harcourt, Omerelu, Owerri, Imo State Border Road was relocated to Iguruta, Chokocho, Okehi, Okpala Road. This project has also been completed. The agency has also successfully carried out maintenance of Iguruta, Chokocho, Okehi, Okpala Road, as well as the emergency repairs of Emohua, Tema Junction Road, and has the general maintenance repairs of Ahwada, Abwa, Degema Hawk Road. The Eleme Junction, One, Akwa Ibom State Border Dual Carriageway, is a section of East-West Road in Rivers State and is the road corridor for the movement of petroleum products to other parts of the country. Through recent maintenance work, potholes were patched, the failed sections repaired, and some sections of the weak pavement have been strengthened. This maintenance work has reduced travel time on the road and extended the lifespan of the carriageway. Engineer Kamelu and his team were on site to inspect the completed project. The federal government, in a bid to shore up the economy, put in place fiscal and stimulus measures, of which the construction and infrastructure sector were a major part. For FEMA, this means almost 200 contracts targeted at roads in the most advanced stages of deterioration, where each state will benefit from at least 4 projects. In Akwa Ibom State, 7 COVID-19 projects have been completed. These projects, all done through contract, are general maintenance of Ikodekpene, Ikodumosien, Aba, Abia State Border Road, major maintenance of Ikodekpene, Ariam, Umuahia, Abia State Border Road, general repairs of Ikodekpene, Itu, Cross River State Border Road, general repairs of Ekbarakwa, Azumini, and general maintenance of Ete, Abak Road.
Inspected the standards. They are not bad at all, and I believe the federal government is getting value for the money they are spending. A COVID intervention was introduced so that the farmers can be able to move their product to the consumers, and where they will have, of course, value for what they have produced already.
The Federal Roads Maintenance Agency's policy of targeted maintenance works, where roads of economic and social value across the nation are selected, ensures continuous economic and social activities. A pothole is a depression in a road surface, usually asphalt pavement. It is usually the result of water in the underlying soil structure and traffic passing over the affected area. Water first weakens the underlying soil. Traffic then fatigues and breaks the poorly supported asphalt surface in the affected area. Continued traffic action ejects both asphalt and the underlying soil material to create a hole in the pavement. Potholes can grow to several feet in width, though they usually only develop to depths of a few inches. If they become large enough, damage to tires, wheels and vehicle suspensions is liable to occur. Serious road accidents can occur as a direct result, especially on those roads where vehicle speeds are greater. Patching is the process of filling potholes or excavated areas in the asphalt pavement. Quick repair of potholes or other pavement disintegration helps control further deterioration, and expensive repair of the pavement. Without timely patching, water can enter the subgrade and cause larger and more serious pavement failures. Patches should be square-edged and the coats rectangular in shape, without having varying lengths or widths within the patch area. A pavement saw makes a fast and clean cut. When large and numerous patches are necessary, a medium-sized milling machine works well. When small and numerous patches are needed, small milling machine is used. After the material is removed and the patch area cleaned, an asphalt tack coat is applied to the vertical faces of the porch. Proper compaction is a critical factor in producing a permanent porch. A vibratory plate compactor for small porches and mandatory for compacting corners. A medium-sized roller may be more practical for large porch areas.
The FEMA do, we are very happy. The road is okay now. The way it be before, now is better than before. So, you people are very, very good. Una try. May God bless you. Now, we'll give you people to do more than this again.
To mun gode wa gwamnati da hanyar nan gaskiya ya faffashe muna tafiya muna dan duba gargada zuwa Bakasi zuwa Malai yanzu hanya ko ya koma normal mun gode muku mun jinjina muku.
Titin nan da aka yi an gode an yaba Allah ya saka da alheri. Wannan aiki da aka yi alhamdulillah an gode Allah ya saka da alheri. Yawwa.
Deterioration of roads is an inevitable occurrence. Once a road is completed and is put into use, wear and tear will begin and the need for maintenance will arise. This implies that road maintenance agencies will always have work to do. As more roads are completed, the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency's portfolio will increase.
The workload has increased, has kept increasing, and for the foreseeable future, I can see it continue to increase. The reason basically is that even if there is no increase in the overall kilometerage of the federal highway network, which there is actually, but even if there is none, all the existing roads are getting older. When a road gets 1 year older, it needs more maintenance. And eventually when a road reaches its life cycle period, it needs much more maintenance with much less effect. If a road is designed to serve for 15 to 20 years, when you reach the end of 20 years, you will find that you do more work on repairs this year than last year with the same or even less results. The reason simply is because the structure itself has reached a terminal end, and what it needs is complete rehabilitation. But we still do need to continue repairing it because life and property is at stake. So we need to continuously keep watch over critical sections of the federal highway network, those that become bottlenecks or blockages, or those that are threatening to cut off sections of the country. So we need to be up and alert on this all of the time.
Building roads means empowering people and connecting communities. FEMA is committed to the maintenance and rehabilitation of federal roads to keep the country moving forward with good and safe roads. That's today's edition of the program. Send us your questions and comments to any of our online platforms. Twitter @FedRoadsNGR, email info@fema.gov.ng, Facebook fema.gov.ng, and website www.fema.gov.ng, or telephone 0813 403 9857, WhatsApp 0818 199 4447. We look forward to hearing from you. Join us next week for more insights into the road maintenance activities of FEMA. Bye for now.